John Lundstram is supposed to be the best on earth, but he's going to be leaving Rangers without a league trophy. As it was announced today, Lunny and 4 other first team players have left Ibrox. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Rangers today getting rid of 5 first team players. 4 of the title winning 55 season are now gone. There will be no title 56 for these players, and there will be no title at all for John Lundstram, who's arrived at Rangers and won nothing but 2 Diddy Cups.
That's pretty much it for John Lundstram, and you know what? Some people can pretend to be sad about this. I'm happy about it. There'll be no tears shed for me. It's joy. It's joy.
It is a bit strange, though, that a player can get these songs sung about him about being the best on earth, yet he leaves without a league title trophy.
Well, you know what, right? John Lundstram's moments against Dortmund and Leipzig will always be fond moments. But did it win the Europa League?
I know, but how much better would those moments be if it went on to actually win the trophy?
Oh yeah, cool, that's my point.
You know, it's a shame for John Lundstram that his best medal at Rangers is a runner-up medal in the Europa League. But it is what it is. The 5 players leaving Rangers are Ryan Jack, Borna Barisic, Kemar Roofe, John McLaughlin and John Lundstram. A couple of these players I think definitely had to go. There's also a couple that I think could have maybe stayed at Rangers and had, one more chance, one more season, maybe one more contract. But it hasn't happened. We're going to go through them all, and we will start with the longest servant at the club. So let's just break it down. We'll look at their stats. We'll look back at their career at Rangers, and then we'll give a decision on whether we think they should have stayed or whether them going was the right call. So first up, we have Ryan Jack, who spent 7 seasons at Rangers. It's a long time now. You seem to forget this guy's been at Rangers for 7 seasons. Feels like yesterday he was wearing an Aberdeen shirt.
It does, but you know what? He's been far too injury prone, summed up by his 209 appearances. I mean, all in, that is, all competitions. I mean, there's some seasons in the league he's playing 9 and 11 games. That's no good enough. And I think Jack on his day is the best Rangers midfielder. But you know what? I could say that about some people on this list as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his 7 seasons in the league, he made, in terms of appearances, 17, 30, 19, 19, 9, 26 and 11 respectively. That's not really good enough. 2 of the last 3 seasons, I mean, he didn't even make 12 league appearances. That's pretty damn poor.
That is poor. And you look at Callum McGregor. I'm not saying Ryan Jack's as good as Callum McGregor, right? But Callum McGregor is never injured.
And when you look at these appearances, the lack of appearances are down more to injury rather than Jack just not being good enough to make the appearance.
Yeah.
The lack of appearances are down to injuries, and is there any point in keeping a player? If Ryan Jack was guaranteed to be fit for the future, I think he would have stayed at Rangers. I think he would have got another contract, but do you really want to offer Ryan Jack another 2-year deal when you can't trust him, when you don't know if he'll be available to play? He'll probably spend more time on the sidelines than he actually will on the pitch. I can understand why Rangers got rid of him, but if we look at his total appearances, like you said, 209, 16 goals in that time, which is not bad. I mean, he wasn't in there to be a goal scorer. He's in there to be a midfielder. And I think at his best, he is good. I don't think he's great by any means, but I think he's definitely a solid part of any team. And he leaves Rangers with 3 trophies. So, I mean, fair play to him. He's had a decent Rangers career. He won more at Rangers than he would have won if he stayed at Aberdeen, put it that way.
That's for sure. I mean, the fact he consistently gets picked for Scotland means he's good, alright? Because that's what our midfield's the best area.
And you've got to wonder what is next for Ryan Jack. 7 seasons at Aberdeen, 7 seasons at Rangers. I mean, he's consistent. When he goes to a club, he's in there for the long run.
Absolutely. Some people saying he'll stay in Scotland.
His next club could very well be his last club.
I don't see how he stays in Scotland for me. He's not going to go to Celtic, obviously.
He'd need to take a massive wage cut.
Yeah, Aberdeen don't want him. Could I see him at Hearts? Would you take him at Hearts? Very injury prone.
I think the money that you'd have to pay for Ryan Jack, you would want somebody that can play 38 games a season.
Yeah.
And that this guy has shown now more often than not that that's a struggle.
Yeah. So let's just.
I mean, out of his 7 seasons at Rangers, there was only 2 seasons where he played more than half the games in the league.
That's piss poor, man.
So
let's talk about it. Should Rangers have re-signed him? Absolutely not. Let's just leave it at that.
if he was fit and you were guaranteed that he wouldn't be injured, I'd say yes.
Yeah, but you know we don't do that.
We don't deal with if, buts, and maybes.
I know, but you were kind of questioning about how Ryan Jack should have been re-signed.
Out of the, I'd say he should have been out of the 5 that got released. I think there's only 2 players he'd probably want to keep, and he's one of them. Put it that way. I think there was only 2 possibilities that were staying on at Rangers.
Fair enough.
So we'll say goodbye to Ryan Jack. Who knows where he's going to end up? He's actually in the Scotland squad as well. I think he will get cut from that, unfortunately, but
apparently he will because he's out of contract. Apparently that's a rule. If you're out of contract, you can't get picked for an international tournament.
Interesting.
I don't know how it works.
I don't know why that's... that seems like a stupid rule to me, but like I don't think Ryan Jack will make the Scotland squad. And if he wants to continue his football in Scotland, then he is going to take a massive pay cut. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in the Championship somewhere, though.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Championship is probably...
If Dykes is injured and someone else gets injured, say, will Jack drop out anyway? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, they need a new call-up altogether. Maybe you can finally get your Max Johnson in there. But let's move on to Borna Barisic, another long-time servant for Rangers. Just there, the 6 years, 1 less year than Ryan Jack. Although controversial, I would actually say that Borna Barisic was a more important player than Ryan Jack. I think at his peak, he was more pivotal for Rangers than Ryan Jack was. Ryan Jack's always been... He's always been a decent player, a good player for Rangers, but there was a point in time, and I think a lot of people forget it, there was a point in time where Barisic was considered great. He was considered equal to Tavernier. He was the best left-back in the league, by far, and I just think people forget about those days.
No, they do forget about those days, but the problem is, for me, I think Borna Barisic's arse went in that 3-0 game at Parkhead at night in 2022 February. I think ever since that game, he's been fucking shite.
Is that the one Hatate came on? And
well, I think he started and got two goals. Yeah. Ever since then, he's been petrified. Ange made this guy shite himself. You're right, though. See, before then, easily the best left back in the league. You know, great numbers, assists, just really good. But could it just be that Rangers just should have sold this guy and that's it? It is. Of course, that's what it is. You can't just keep, at the end of every season, losing 5 players that are in around the first team for free. You need to fucking recoup a bit of money. No football clubs run like that. It's bad enough losing 1. Rangers are losing like 6 every season now.
Yeah, Rangers are losing players here that they could have at one time got a decent amount of money for.
Roma bid 11 million for this guy, and Rangers didn't want none of it. Fucking work that out.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't that long ago.
Well, 3 years ago, whatever.
It was after the title winning season, though.
So about 3 years ago.
That would have been a good time to cash out.
Yeah, but if Barisic left the Rangers for 11 million, then people would be...
See the way they'd look back on him? He'd be getting, like, not quite maybe hero treatment, but he'd be looking back almost a legend, kind of.
Honestly,
the guy stopped 10 in a row.
It would be like, if he had a couple more seasons, he could have really cemented himself as one of the best left-backs this club's ever had, sort of talk.
And now when people...
But obviously he's had those couple of years in hindsight, it's just not fucking worked.
Yeah, sometimes you need to leave when the grass is green.
Aye.
But, Barisic, 236 appearances, 10 goals. The 10 goals surprises me. I know he's a left-back, but I just would have assumed he had more than that.
Yeah, I believe he got a hat-trick of penalties against Royal Antwerp in that 2020-21 campaign, so that's where he's got a few goals in there. A couple of free kicks, though.
Yeah, so, no bad, but, yeah, for me, I would have thought he did more than that. In terms of assists, though, he probably had a lot of them as well.
Yeah, absolutely the correct decision. His arse just collapsed.
Yeah, he probably could have been released last year, maybe even the year before that. Or not released, but sold on. I still think that the Rangers were getting like half-decent offers, like last year and the year before that. And I know he's just stuck around. But you look at it, same thing with Kent Morelos. It's kind of crazy that they were both allowed to leave as well on a free and got no money for them.
Yeah,
I just don't see. You look at the title squad that Rangers won 55 with. Who have they actually capitalised on apart from Kamara?
There you go.
Right,
Kamara left on a free, mate.
Fuck, they not even get money for him?
No.
Fuck, Leeds bought it. Norwich, Leeds.
Free.
Jesus Christ. So who have Rangers actually
made
profit on?
Aribo?
Is that it?
From 55 season?
Aye.
Fuck, I think so.
I was convinced Rangers sold Kamara, did they not?
No, free.
Well, there you go. What do I know? Don't support them. So,
Alright, Jambo Bear.
Barisic leaves. Good player, but just
No, it had to go. Had to go.
Overstayed his welcome.
Right, up next, I have a particular bone to pick with this guy, which is ironic because his bones are made out of fucking Weetabix. It's Kemar Roof. This guy had a great first season. He did. Hell, even his numbers in the second season, he got 16 goals in 36 appearances. That's quite good, right? I'm not going to totally bash that. But then look at the 2022-23 season. 6 games, 2 goals. That's unacceptable. See this guy, Kemar Roof, he almost gets like a free pass. Why? His lack of fitness and injuries fucked Rangers in the Europa League. It did. Rangers happened to start Joe Aribo and Scott Wright up front.
2 goals and 6 ain't a horrible return.
It's not horrible. Yeah, but I'm talking about the 6 appearances. That's the horrible.
Yeah, no, that is horrible. But let's look at last season. He made 22 appearances in all competitions, and he only scored 2 goals. That is pretty poor.
And I want to take it back. I always said, "Oh, if this guy stayed fit, man, he'd be the best player in the world," or whatever I said. Even though I think it was someone else that said that. No, you know what? If you can't stay fit, there's no point talking about ifs and buts. See, that's who you are.
I've always heard that if Kemar Roof was fit, he'd be the best striker in the league, and I never understood that. Like, I mean, Shankland has proven that when he stays fit, he can score the goals. Roof's never done that, so therefore, I'm going to say that Shankland's the best striker in the league.
His first 2 seasons here, 18 and 36 and 16 and 36, and he had a lot of assists as well. Good seasons, but the reality is, he's made out of glass. And you've got to factor that in.
Good player, but overrated, had to go, and never was he staying.
I think the last few appearances off the bench were nothing short of disgusting. So there you go.
Oh, he did make the century. He got the 100 appearances for Rangers, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, fair play to him.
If you look at it though, 38 goals and 100 appearances, that's not bad.
No. Also for Roof, it doesn't look as bad, right? Because he's had 4 years, he's had 3 trophies and a Europa League run. Like Barisic, he's had the extra 2 years with nothing.
Yeah.
So it just shows you, it depends when you leave. It's like Aribo, right? Great, and the fact he left for money makes him look a lot better than if he just stayed and seen his contract out and played.
Say if Roof got sold after 2 years though, you'd have think, right, first year came in, stopped 10 in a row, won title 55, second year, won the Scottish Cup, had that massive run to Europa League final, and he's got really good returns in terms of goals for his appearances. You'd be looking at Roof and thinking, what a player he was.
Yeah, but then
But then he stays another 2 years, and those 2 years just completely...
4 goals and 28 appearances.
Those extra 2 years just completely, basically fucking screw over his first 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, I would say at the first 3 here, this is the guy that had to go the most.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because
I would say
give you something.
I would say at the 5, he's the one I agree with the most.
Yeah, probably the most wages.
Yeah,
near enough.
He'd be up there, and I mean, at least with the next guy who we're going to talk about, John McLaughlin. I mean, you could make a case that he's backup, or you can keep him as a coach or something like that. You know, he's good for experience, but you can't really argue that with Kemar. At least with John McLaughlin, you could say if you needed him, he'd be there.
Well, I mean,
he's dependable.
If you ran out of Weetabix and you wanted to fire Roof into a bowl, then maybe you could eat him, but that's a bit.
Let's talk about John McLaughlin, though. Joined in the 2020-2021 season, 4 seasons at Rangers, so he was there the same amount of time as Kemar Roof.
I'm going to say seriously underrated. You know why? Yes, his arse collapsed against Celtic in that game, never really seen again after that. 46 appearances, 29 clean sheets, longest ever period without conceding a goal in Scottish football history.
I think he was underrated. It's just that it didn't help. The Champions League didn't help him either.
No, but I think it's rank for Rangers, by the way. I mean, this guy has 2 trophies to his name, obviously. 29 clean sheets and 46 is good. And see the 5 players, 4 got goodbye messages and videos, and this guy got nothing. Why?
Didn't even get an appearance last year.
See, if you look at these 5 players, right, who's going to be leaving with, the fondest memories? It's probably going to be Jack, and then I think it's going to probably be McLaughlin, because I think a lot of people just hate Lundstrom and Barisic.
Possibly.
So, I don't know. I think this guy not getting a video is a bit disrespectful.
Yeah, but he was always, the unwanted guy, even when he was the number 1. All Rangers fans wanted McGregor.
Yeah, but no one hated McLaughlin. I think there's a lot of people that hate Lundstrom, Lundstrom's public enemy number 1.
But yeah, 29 appearances, 29 clean sheets, actually. Where do you get that stat from?
I know my stats, big man.
There you go.
It's 29 clean sheets and 46 appearances.
Well, here. You can't complain with that.
No, you cannot complain with that. That's fucking good.
No, yeah, so it's 46 appearances.
He only conceded, was it 29 goals as well?
Is there a case that he should have stayed here?
I'm not,
Especially if Jack Butland's going.
Obviously, he's done, right? He hasn't played like a game, but I think here, if you need to keep him to fulfill the Scottish quota in Europe, and also just to have a guy that's, he's a bit of age about him, bit of experience, coaching role potentially.
I think he's a good player. I remember his season at Hearts earned him a move to Sunderland. He was good then. I think he was good for Rangers. Yeah, he had a couple of bad games in Europe, but I mean, who didn't? Remember, was it the Ajax game where he was really bad? I think he was bad in the one that lost 4-0. I think he was pretty bad in that. But, I mean, come on. It's European. Rangers were bad in general.
Yeah.
The worst record ever, and it's not all John McLaughlin's fault.
No.
And look at the defence they had in front of him, in fairness.
No, I mean, absolutely.
But it didn't help that they brought McGregor in and straight away he starts saving penalties. And then you're like, fuck, well, that was pretty much John McLaughlin's time done at Rangers, I think.
Yeah.
After that.
No, absolutely. But, yeah, for me, I think probably the guy would have kept the most, but not because he was going to play, just because it's easier to keep him.
Easier to keep him, and then we'll move on to the last guy, John Lundstrom, supposedly the best on earth, the only guy here that wasn't part of the title-winning season, but he did play a big part in Rangers getting to their Europa League final. He made, 152 appearances, 11 goals in that space of time. What you have to say about McLaughlin, what you have to say about Lundstrom is that he arguably, over the past 3 seasons, out of these 5, not even arguably, I think he has been the most important player.
Why?
He's been in there, he's been consistent. Even when you look at the amount of games that he's played, I mean, he's almost putting up Callum McGregor numbers here in terms of appearances. 48, 52 and 52.
Yeah, but
I mean, the other players in this list can only dream.
John Lundstrom had 2 purple patches, right? He had a patch when Clement took over to the end of February this season, and then the last couple of months in his first season in the Europa League. That's just not good enough. Because it's not like he's had the purple patches, right? Then either side of it, he's been average. It has been purple patch.
Then dog shite.
No, it's been great. I think it's been great. I think when he was great, he was great. But see, when he is bad, he is fucking bad. He is awful.
Could argue he's the guy that really put the nail in the Rangers title challenge this season as well.
No, absolutely.
That red card against Celtic, I think, pretty much killed off any hopes of Rangers winning the league.
It did. And for that, it made him public enemy number 1. I think before that game, everyone wanted Borna Barisic at the club way more than Lundstrom. But ever since that red, everyone flipped on this guy. And rightfully so. You can't do that.
Without that red, do you think he'd have stayed?
Not necessarily, but here, I don't think everyone would have been so happy about him leaving, put it that way.
I think out the 5 players, so if you were going to keep one, I think that Borna Barisic, John Lundstrom would be that guy though.
Well, I disagree. I think Lundstrom's done. You can't just sign a guy on to hope he gets a purple patch for 2 months out the fucking season. So
in order of, you wanted them to stay to leaving. So in terms of number 1, who would you want it to have stayed the most out of these 5? What's the order?
I would say
from staying to leaving, 1 to 5.
I would say
1 being staying, 5 being leaving.
McLaughlin, Jack, Barisic, Lundstrom, Roof.
Lundstrom that low down?
Yes.
Interesting.
Ryan Jack's a Rangers man. This guy's a fucking diddy.
And we'll find out
Piss me off.
What man Ryan Jack is next season. Can he find a club? Will any of these guys find clubs? Do you think any of these guys will go on and improve their career, or do you think that's them on a downward spiral now? Most of them are into their 30s, and I think they're all into their 30s, aren't they? Some of them are approaching.
I don't think all of them are done, but I mean, we'll have to. I think McLaughlin's near enough done, but
is this
probably done?
Is this as good as it gets for these 5?
Oh, aye.
Playing for Rangers.
Fuck, of course it is.
Right, so none of them.
It doesn't matter what
they
do.
So their careers are on a downward spiral now.
I think there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just saying.
No, if Barisic goes and joins, name me a Croatian team that he could join.
Dynamo Zagreb.
If he goes and joins Dynamo Zagreb,
Hajduk
right,
Split,
and wins like a league or whatever and then retires. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that's a downward spiral, but they're not going to play for a club anymore.
They're not getting big moves.
No, they're not.
So the days of Borna Barisic signing for Roma, they're done.
No, he's never going to play for a club the size of Rangers. None of them are.
Right, okay.
That's just the reality of it is.
And there you go, guys. Heard it here. John Lundstrom, where's he ending up? Championship, League One, something like that?
Aye. Sheffield United again.
Sheffield fucking United. Till next time, guys. Been Fog Football. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.